Hey guys, good morning. So I wanted to talk about this comment that I received over here. And I wanted to bring attention to it because I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what, I should make a video about this. And what my thoughts about this is because I notice sometimes, right, people, not just guys, but people, they dismiss themselves and they say, hey, I am not worthy, or I've gotten rejected in the past, so therefore I'm just gonna give up, or my face is the only kind of face that a mother can love. But here's the thing: I have known several guys throughout my life, and some of them aren't really considered aesthetic at all, but they managed to get some really beautiful women. So, for instance, I know a guy who looks average, right? And he's about 5'2", and he's married to a woman who's about 5'7". She is like a bombshell. I'm not kidding you guys. She's a bombshell, and she makes more money than him for sure. At one point, he was unemployed for the longest time, and she still stood by his side, even though he was less attractive than her. He didn't have any money. He made less money than her. And he did this, well, she did this because, you know what, they connected on a personal level, and he treated her with a lot of respect. I mean, he has this kind of like masculine vibe to him, like a really like kind of like confident. That's the best way I can put it. Confident, and I've known him for a number of years. He's very like level-headed. He has this kind of like masculine aura, but it's not a cocky masculine aura. It's like one of those auras where you just kind of like stop, and you're like, okay, this guy is obviously very sure of himself. He's very confident, but it's not in a cocky way. It's like a more of like a confident, working towards himself kind of thing. And it's this vibe that I find in very few males. So, Andrew said, I won't date because I'm always judged by my looks and women think I'm a low quality male. Plus, I work 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. Ain't got time to risk the thin line of sanity I've left on this illusion they call love. Only people who call me handsome or anything positive is my mom, the hundreds upon hundreds of predatory social media fembots I have to deal with on Facebook every day. I'm lonely, not desperate. Now, here's my thinking, right? I don't think all women look at a guy and say that is like a low quality male, instantly dismiss. I feel, right, and this is just from personal experience, this is what I see. A lot of women don't recognize, or they don't notice guys who are kind of like invisible. A guy who stands out is a guy who takes care of himself, a guy who works out, and a guy who just not just works out, but he also is very cognizant about his styling and his grooming as well. So I made a video about this, and it was men's clothing suggestions. So I thought, like, of all the things that I noticed in guys that stood out to me, and one of the things that I've spoken about several times is like my love and my appreciation for a nice leather shoe. That's just me though. That's just me. I think leather shoes look really great. I think in a world where guys or people don't really care about footwear too much, like if you see a nice, beautiful, shiny black leather shoe, and I'm not talking like a dress shoe all the time, but it's like a Chelsea boot or so, it really stands out. So I would suggest look at this clothing suggestions and thoughts video. I only did a part 1. I thought I did a part 2, but I guess I didn't do a part 2. So I did see in my comment section, so I did put a list of all the things over here. So Parte says, I'm from the old school. This new style of skinny legs and high hem lines on the cuffs drives me crazy because I'm not tall enough to make it look good. Like, I think like you said, they're designed for tall men only. Oh well, thanks for the stream. So I realize that yes. So when I'm talking about clothing styles like Shawn Mendes, I think he dresses really well. I think the dress shirt combo with the black pants with the Chelsea boots looks really great. But I realized, right? I did not think about this until today, but I'm very biased because one of my exes, this is his trademark style. So when I knew him, right, when I first met him, he was wearing like Chelsea boots, black pants, dress shirt, just like a Shawn Mendes thing. And I think that left a lasting impression on me because I thought, you know what, that looks really good. It really stands out. I don't know too many guys, at least in Hawaii, like during that time especially, where they were wearing Chelsea boots. So having that really stands out. But in case you're not like 5'9", 5'8", or in case you don't have like a longer leg line, because like for me, right, I'm 5'4", but I feel like my legs are kind of stubby. um, so a person who has like shorter legs, they might not feel comfortable to wear such like a long, lean, kind of cut, right? And I'm not too sure how a dress shirt would look on a person who is, let's say, 5'6" without tailoring versus someone who is like 5'11". Because some of these shirts that you're seeing like Saint Laurent, you're seeing what was it called? Oh my goodness, what was that brand? All Saints. All Saints. So Shawn Mendes wears a lot of All Saints too. You have to have like a certain kind of build to get into those kind of shirts, and it's not just the brand that sticks out. Okay, it's actually the way it cuts. It's the way that it falls on the body that makes a difference. Because you can put a shirt, right? Let's say for instance, this is a picture of him when he was younger, right? He looks like his clothes are falling off of him. Okay, so once he starts getting, once he has clothes that fits on him, which I highly recommend for any person, right? Once you have clothes that start fitting on you well, like this, it looks so much better. So you can see the fitted shirt with the black pants, with the black leather shoe. Looks great. Looks great. So if you are not taller or you feel like you can't pull that style off, I would say get a style that is your signature style and rock it. So Bruno Mars, he's like about 5'3", 5'4", and people would say like, oh, he doesn't look that short, but he actually is tailoring. So his clothes fit him perfectly, and he has such this like amazing confidence. Like you won't even pick up. Like I know guys who are like maybe 5'7", and they wish that they were 5'10" or so, and you can just like feel that they wish they were taller. But if you like own your height and you have clothes that fit you, like it gets you really far. It gets you really far as a person. That's just my thoughts over here. So when you look at Bruno Mars, you see him on stage and something like that, you don't get any inkling that he's his height that he is, because it's like he is larger than his body. You guys get what I'm saying? Like he really owns it. So so work on your styling. Find the style that works for you. I've recommended 2 different styles. Not everybody can fit like a Bruno Mars style. Not everybody can fit a Shawn Mendes style. Not everybody can fit the clothing suggestions that I put in. I put in a lot of dress shirts. I put in some suits over here. What else did I put in? Yeah, I also brought attention to detail, because you see like a shirt like this. You guys might not be able to tell. Let me see if I can click on this thing. Okay, as a woman, I don't know if this thing works still, but as a woman, oh yeah, it's sold out. So I notice fine details very well. So hold on one moment. Yeah, I notice fine details. So when I see, like, if I see a guy or a person out and about and I notice patterns, like, it really, really stands out, because that signifies, like, hey, this guy doesn't just buy something off the rack. He actually looks at patterns. And this is where sometimes you see those celebrity stylists, the people that they style look like $1,000,000. It's because their stylists have that kind of eye, and then it signals to people that, hey, yeah, this person really thought about what they're wearing. And a celebrity, obviously, like Bruno Mars, they're not looking through racks and racks and racks of clothes, most likely, right? They have people that they hire to find these kind of prints, to find this kind of this kind of thing that matches with them or what they think looks good, and of course tailoring. And so, but for you guys, right, if you guys don't have a stylist, I would recommend, head over to a store. I think Nordstrom is great. There's also like Bloomingdale's, but try to find like these kind of dress shirts where they have these like interesting looking patterns. I think this is a scooter, so maybe not a scooter exactly. I mean, it depends if you feel like you can pull a scooter or not. But like Shawn Mendes' he has these like shirts where he has these like these details over here. See that? Not too many guys would feel comfortable pulling off a pattern like this. And I always think, like, if a guy can pull off a pattern like this and he can wear it, especially if it's like kind of like a little feminine, right? Or it can kind of like it could be seen as like risk taking, and he pulls it off well. That kind of like gives off this like image like, wow, this guy must be really confident. He must be confident wearing this kind of pattern. And again, I say this because of personal experience and things that I've noticed, you know, back when I was single in Hawaii. And yeah, but not too many guys dress like this. Not too many guys at all. The other thing that I would recommend is try to do online dating. I know what Andrew said over here, right? Like, see that? So what you could do is you could make sure, you know, you can take care of yourself. You can work out at the gym, work on your styling, work on your grooming, take some good pictures, rate a good profile. Not anything like, you know, I'm a person, I'm a man, and I'm cool. Like you got to put like a lot of thought process inside some of these dating profiles, and make sure you have good pictures as well. And then yeah, just like see what happens. You know, if like you don't get a reply back, then it is what it is. But I think, right, inevitably someone will reply, and it's easier to, if you're not in a very, let's say, like if you're in LA, it might be really hard. I'm just being real here because there's so many like male models over there. But if you're in like a regular kind of town, and just, yeah, not everybody is like super aesthetic, then you have a much higher chance. That's just my thoughts over here. So yeah, so I think it's very unhealthy if you go on to do this thing when you say, I won't date because I'm always judged by my looks and women think I'm a low quality male. Because I think that if you don't put yourself out there, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you really owe it to yourself to put yourself out there. And if you don't feel comfortable putting the time out, then of course put an online dating profile, put it on several websites. And what you will find is maybe someone, right, maybe someone will comment back to you, and you can live your life and just take care of yourself and things like that. Because it's very important that I think a guy respects themselves. And talking about respecting themselves, I've shared with you guys in the past, I am not a fan of, you know, like I see these people on the street. I don't know where the hell I don't know where these guys come from, but I see them on the street sometimes, and their freaking boxers are showing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do they not have a belt? Do they not? Is there some kind of like? Do they think like women are attracted to seeing like 5 inches of boxers? I don't know what it is. Like, I wish guys could like pull their pants up, but sometimes guys don't pull their pants up. If you want to know what good pants to wear, I would say they would be dress pants, jeans that cover your butt, that you don't see the underwear. And yeah, it's like you see, like, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of Bruno Mars with his ass hanging out of his pants, but who knows, maybe I'm just out of touch or something. Maybe those guys like the women who say like, ooh, look at that guy wearing the plaid boxers. But personally, I don't think that that's a sign of a guy who really cares about himself. I think it's kind of lazy. So yeah, pull your pants up, make sure that you're not showing your underwear and stuff like that. Maybe if you sit down, maybe it'll show a little, but still, you know, not like walking down the street with the freaking belt over the crotch. It just drives me insane, you guys. I mean, I think I told you guys, like, there was this guy on TSA with the Gucci belt, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is such a joke. Like, he has a $500 belt, and he still can't pull his pants up. It's one of those things that like trigger me for sure. Because I don't understand. You know, we have such great style icons for males, and then you got these guys who are like, I'm gonna show my ass. It's like, I don't get it. So other thing that I would recommend, I don't know if I added in my clothing suggestion video, probably did not, but if you do decide to do online dating, or if you do have a date with someone, my recommendation, or if you do like casually like go up to someone, right, get to know them first, converse with them like online, text message, whatever, right? And then when you actually do want to meet up with them, and this doesn't have to be like 2 days after you met them, right? But just like have some conversation with them. What you should do is you should ask them to dinner, okay? Not coffee. I have said this many times. I do not like the idea of a coffee date, because it's like, coffee date is more like a networking thing, in my opinion. I know people would disagree with me on that, but if you spent, let's say, a couple days or a week Actually, I think a week's too long in my opinion. But like if you spend a couple days texting or speaking to someone and you think that, hey, they seem like a really cool person, right? You don't need to have coffee to gauge them because you've already spent a couple days talking to them. So what you should do is you should go and move it over to a dinner date. That's just my suggestion because when it's dinner, it's more private, right? When you have lunch, you got people who are going through the lunch crowd and it gets kind of chaotic. I've been on lunch dates before. They're not great because it's kind of loud. People are chatting. Some people are in a rush. It's like, oh. So, for me, right? From what I can recall, like I'm a big fan of dinner dates because again, it's more private. Now, right? People will say, well, Erica, well, how about a dinner date? Wouldn't a dinner date be more expensive than a lunch date? Yeah, it would be. It would be. I would recommend if you take a person, let's say a woman, out on a dinner date, you should take her to a place, not like, you should take her to a place that's kind of like, I don't want to say hipster-like, but kind of hipster-like. We're talking like one of those like not bistros, but you don't want to like go. You can go to like a $30 a plate place, $25-$30 a plate place, and whatever you do, okay, whatever you do, this is just my opinion, okay. If I had a son, I would tell my son this, okay. Whatever you do, you got to look over the menu first. You got to know where you're going to, and pay attention to what she orders. And depending on what she orders, that tells you if you should waste more time on her. So what I'm saying is this. Let's say you go to a restaurant, you're looking at $30 plates, the woman orders an $80 item. In my opinion, right? It's like, and she's ordering up. In my opinion, if you're ordering like a $30 item and she's ordering an $80 item, that's not being mindful towards you. Especially if you pay for it all. I'm a big like fan of recommending this. If you go on a first date and you're a guy, you can call me old fashioned, but I would say pay for the date. Pay for the date completely. None of this half stuff. No. You pay for the date completely because I don't like this whole thing where it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do half and we'll split in the middle. It's like, no, I don't like that concept at all. And I know people will probably get pissed off at me for saying that kind of thing and just say split the bill. But whenever I think about split the bill, I see it as when someone says, let's split the bill, that says, I don't feel a connection to you to the point that I want to go on another date with you. You see? So, and I think it could just be, on the side where maybe because I'm not that kind of woman that orders the $80 item, I'll ask the guy, like, what are you going to order? And if he orders, let's say, a $30 dish, then I will stick with the $30 dish as well. Not because I'm not looking at the $80 item, but because it's like, hey, you know what? If you want to budget on this thing, like, yeah, let's budget together. You see? So that's kind of like mindfulness right there. If you are going on a dinner date, my recommendation is don't wear a t-shirt and jeans. Like, don't do that. Because you know what your kind of place you're going to, like a $30 place or something. Dress nicer, and I would say the tried and true things, all the stuff that I've recommended in my suggestions and thoughts thing. See the dress shirt sort of thing. That's good. I notice, and this is just my opinion here. A guy who is more confident in himself, and this is just my experience, okay? A guy who is more confident in himself, he actually puts more effort into what he wears. So I remember, right? I went on a date with some guy, and he was wearing a t-shirt and he was wearing jeans, and that was it. And I was all dressed up, right? And it left a lasting impression to me because I thought, like, okay, you're dressed like we were just going to a regular place. Versus, right? Like, I thought of it like, okay, I'm putting all this, like, time and energy and focus on my look, trying to look good, trying to be respectful, and it stands out kind of thing. Because I think if you're going on a dinner date with someone, then you should put the time and effort in. And I as a woman, looking back, like, I don't appreciate that kind of thing. So if you're a guy, my recommendation is go business casual. Wear a dress shirt, wear nice pants, wear dress shoes, Every guy should have a nice pair of dress shoes, okay? Even if you're not a business professional, you should have a nice pair of dress shoes. I really recommend Allen Edmonds. I recommended them over here. And then have a pair of nice fitting pants. And then wear, of course, a dress shirt. And, or if you have it, right? Depending on how you feel, you can also wear a suit jacket. So I've been on, let's see, I've been on 2 dates with guys where, no, 2 or 3. I can't remember. I think it was 2, definitely 2. 2 dates with guys where they're wearing suit jackets. And that left a lasting impression on me because I was thinking like, wow, these guys are actually wearing suit jackets. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah, it just kind of like signals something, right? Like you shouldn't feel like the only time you're wearing a suit is to an interview, to work, and to a funeral, right? You can wear a suit when you're having a date with someone, but a lot of guys, I don't know what it is, they don't think about it. I don't know why. And I've always told my guy friends, my single guy friends when I was in Hawaii, I was like, you gotta watch what you're dressing. And I would actually ask them like, what are you gonna wear? Like, show me what you're gonna wear. And they're like, oh, is this good, Eric? And I was like, yeah, this is good. But wear a collared shirt, wear a dress shirt. Make sure you got nice pants. I don't want to see your toes. I said that. Like, I do not want to see anybody's toes. Wear nice covered shoes. Okay, no toes, no slippers, none of that. You can do that in another thing, but don't do it on the first impression. That's just my personal opinion. And lastly, I wanted to also point this out over here. Just, this is like, of course I know this is a music video, but I wanted to share it with you guys because, let me share it to you. So like, look at the body language over here, okay? I'm not saying copy Michael Jackson, but I'm saying like, you gotta also be mindful of your body language because sometimes I notice like guys, they'll be like, oh, it's so nice to see you, like that. Like, you don't want to be meek, okay? In my opinion, I feel like guys should be more confident. Guys should be more masculine because I think women have a more feminine, soft energy. So let me look at this. Okay, I'm gonna have to like fast forward this. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is an MJ thing, so we'll make this a little faster. Yep, I would not recommend hitting the butt, by the way. Okay, so I know people would say like, Erica, this is ridiculous. Why are you showing that? Just be mindful of your body language, okay? If you watch this music video, you'll see how he comes off, and it's just very like leading. I feel that way. That's just me. Okay, this is what I remember about the dating scene. Guys, in my opinion, should have masculine energy, and they should, be proud of that masculine energy. I'm not saying be belligerent. I'm saying be respectful. Of course, wear a suit. Wear a dress shirt if you don't want to wear a suit. And wear covered shoes. And the other thing too is just like, whatever you do, okay, remember your shoes. I've said this before, but wear dress socks. Okay, don't wear regular socks. Wear dress socks. I have been known that I know this is gonna sound terrible, but there's been like guys that I've dated and they're dressed up, and I will lift their pants up to see if they're wearing like the ankle part. I will lift their pants, the ankle part up to see if they're wearing dress socks or not. And I remember I had this one guy that I was dating, and he had white athletic socks on, and he had it with black dress shoes. Oh my god, I was like, what? Yeah, I just basically told him, I said like, oh my gosh, like, you gotta wear dress socks. Like, I know you have dress socks at home, like, you're not Michael Jackson. But yeah, he just laughed it in, and I was like, oh my gosh, please wear dress socks in the future, okay? Please wear dress socks. I don't want Michael Jackson. So that's all I wanted to say about that kind of stuff. And hold on. Okay, I'm back. So let me read what people are saying. All Saints is actually a brand. They don't have like all the styles that I like All Saints shirt. Let's see. So they have these kind of shirts. It's kind of like hit or miss. I don't like all their stuff, But they got some pretty interesting prints. See? But not all of them, I think, look good. Like, I think, yeah, it depends on the fit, on how it goes on a person. Oh my god, does that mean that, you see this shirt? This All Saint shirt? Oh my god, it looks like total crap. Okay, it's like $30. No wonder. Oh, that looks like total crap. Was that the shirt that Shawn Mendes was wearing before? Because if so, oh my gosh, it just looked terrible. But yeah, like, depending on the shirt that you wear, yeah, see something like this? Like, I think this is a pretty cool shirt. But not too many people can pull this shirt off. I think it looks cool. You got the tiger, it looks unique. You got the plants or so. I think if you pair that with some black pants with the Chelsea boot, that would look good. See, you see how I'm playing around with this? You have like your standard bottoms or so, and don't just have one pair of shoes. Like, you can have several pair of nice black shoes or nice leather shoes or other color shoes. But yeah, the tops like this really stands out because a lot of guys will not wear a shirt with like a design like that. They'll just wear like a solid. They don't really care about patterns too much. See, like this? Okay, this is called the Eugene shirt. But you see the little pattern over here, right? Some people can pull off patterns really well. But you gotta find like a really good pattern. Not all patterns match everybody. See? Ooh. Okay. Okay, so see? Shawn wearing the All Saint shirt. Okay. So yeah, most people can't pull the shirt off. But see, like a pattern like this, I think this is polka dot, I'm not too sure. Like, that looks pretty cool. I like pattern. That's what I'm saying. See, like this shirt? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool looking shirt. So it's like, it's casual enough that you can wear this outside if you go grocery shopping for a short sleeve. But it's very versatile, right? You can wear this shirt to a lunch date, you can wear it when you're going grocery shopping, and it doesn't make you look like stiff or anything like that. It just looks more refined. It looks like you care more about your image. That's what I'm trying to get at. Emily says, I have a 3-date rule. If a guy doesn't make a move to anything intimate, then he is worthless. Oh, Emily, I love how you just say it that way. I love that honesty over there. Yeah, I don't see anything bad with it. Like, I see it this way. I see, like, and people, I know, like, people will disagree with me here because of how society is now. And then they make it sound like, oh, if you go 50-50, then you're a strong woman. You know, you gotta go 50-50 because you gotta signal to the man you can pay your own stuff. It's like, well, of course a woman could pay her own way. Like, if she wanted to buy a $30 dish, of course she could pay it for herself. But it's like, the way I see it, and people can criticize me on this one, but I kind of feel like if you have two completely separate finances and you're like, okay, this is your money and this is my money. And if we want to be in a relationship, we're going to go 50-50 all the time. I think that sends a wrong message because it's kind of like you're together, but you're not really together, right? So I'm not saying like, yeah, don't like, I'm not saying like, how would I say this? I'm not saying that women are weak. I'm just saying that, you know, based on how I view things, I think it shouldn't be this whole thing where it kind of signals that, yeah, if a guy is paying for something, then he's being taken advantage of. I don't see it that way at all. Again, I've grew up around a bunch of strong males, you know, strong men in my life, and yeah, it's like I always see them just take care of the bill for their wives, or it's like even when I hear about people dating, if they're an older generation, it's not even a question, it's like a given. it's like a given. Like, of course the guy's gonna do it. Now, what I've noticed is that, yeah, when a guy is like, oh, okay, let me do this for you, right? Let me pay for dinner, and then the woman is like, oh, no, 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 I will pay my own way. It's just like, I feel like it sends this message to a guy that like he's not appreciated. It sends a message like, no, I don't want your money. Like, I got my own money. Like, I don't need you. It's like, okay, you got the strong woman kind of thing, but I don't. I think it's like, it's almost like sending the message that women don't want gentlemen. You see? And I know people get offended by that. They're like, oh, gentlemen are weak men. I'm like, no, gentlemen are not weak men. But yeah, so it's like I have this kind of view, and for me, right, like I said, I've been in relationships with guys before, right, before, and I still respect, I still keep in touch with, I'd say, two of them. The other ones that we either lost in touch, or I never thought about it, or they got married, so it's kind of weird if I try to keep in touch with them. But two of them, yeah, I still keep in touch with them, and I still wish them well. And sometimes I get updates about their life, and it's like we're all good. So it's not like, yeah, it's not like, if anybody thought this whole idea where, oh, okay, well, Erica dated these guys, and these guys, paid for her meal, and yeah, she just like left them in the dust. Like, no, that's not the case. I still care about these people, right? It's like I still want to wish them well. One of them I know is in a good relationship with someone, and then the other one, I think he's being a playboy right now. I don't know. I gotta like follow up on him, but he's like, how would I say it? He has youth on his side, and he works out, he takes care of himself, and yeah, he's walking around basically in Chelsea boots and skinny pants and dress shirts. So yeah, he unsurprisingly has more success with women. And I've seen some of the women that he's dated, after me, and I'm like, dang, they look really good. So that's why I share this kind of stuff with you. It's not like, oh, I just came up with this off the top of my head. But yeah, if you work out and you put yourself out there, and you take care of your clothes and your styling, and you got a good head on your shoulders, it can take you really far, for sure. No, okay, so Lewis says, I was dating this one woman who said she wouldn't buy me a sandwich because she'd feel like she was with a simp. No, I mean, like, I've bought meals before. I have no problem buying meals. I've bought meals, I bought gifts, I bought clothing. Yeah. Um, for the guy. So, but I never felt like I was a simp. I just felt like, hey, I saw something and I thought it would bring joy to them, so I picked it up. No, I think sometimes, like, women have this idea that guys should be providing, like, a guy should always like provide everything and everything and everything. But I think that if anything happens financially, right, like, a woman definitely has to step up. So I've known situations where, like, the guy like has a great job, and then he loses his job, and then the wife can step up, right, and get a job. But sometimes, like, the wife doesn't want to get a job. She's like, oh, well, that's your issue, you deal with it yourself. I mean, I thought it was really cold, but So Emily says, I date for 4 qualities: how he would be like as a father, his qualities, his vision, his looks, how he is a better. Well, Emily, lays it out, man. Look at Emily over here. Dang, that's a straight shooter over here. Total straight shooter. I think it's vision for life, if I had to put a guess on it. Mm, Emily said, did any of your dates end up with any fun time? Because from my past experience, a lot of guys are really shy. One guy, uh, no, I mean, I don't see anything bad about asking, because I think sometimes guys are just they're very wary, right? Because it's like, even when I showed you that video of MJ, right? When he's doing this move, where is it? See, he grabs your hand, right? He puts his hand on her back. But see this one? Depending on how, I mean, this video came out, I think, around 2001, okay? Now we're in 2021. So, I mean, that little move that he did, slapping the butt, I mean, that could be considered, what, SH, right? Harry, you know what I'm gonna say. I don't have to say it, you know what I mean. So, I would not recommend that, just because it's like, you don't know how a woman would react. Now, if you feel comfortable with her, right? If you've known her for a while, if you're dating her, like, maybe you feel more comfortable doing that, but you don't know how she feels about it. Some women like it, other people don't. Uh, yeah, so you got to be kind of careful about how you come off. You guys know about, like, Keanu Reeves, right? He got the little uh, honor hands or respect hands where he doesn't touch women. I'm like, well, as a celebrity, I think that's a smart thing to do. But yeah, it's kind of tough, for certain guys to, like, kind of think like, oh, wait, is this okay? Is this not? Is this so? Yeah. But I think that a guy should be able to read body language. And usually that I think it wouldn't stray them wrong, kind of thing. But that's just my thoughts over here, and I'm gonna get going. I just wanted to do my little morning stream today, 37 minutes. Not too bad, not too bad. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about all this. And again, I hope that what I tell you guys, like, it helps you guys out, because I don't want people to think that, they look like crap, and they don't do anything about it, right? If you complain that you're not meeting women, ask yourself, how much are you putting yourself out there? How much are you investing in yourself? In terms of your health, your fitness, your grooming, your mind, all that stuff really adds up. I think that it's flawed to think that like, women are stuck up, because I find from my personal experience, right, seeing women, knowing women, they're not as picky about men, I find, than men are about women. Like, I think it comes down to social media, because there's so much more perfect, flawless women out there than guys, floating around. Like, if I open Instagram right now, I'll see a bunch of fitness chicks. I won't see, like, too many males. So I think women, they look at a guy and they say, like, how's his character? How does he treat other people? How does he act? Versus, I think sometimes guys, and I'm not gonna blanket statement, but it's like, I notice it's like there's more focus on simply the physical. And again, I've had conversations with people where it's like, I hear things where, so and so gets cheated on because their husband of, like, 20 years leaves them for, like, a 27-year-old or something like that. And it's just like, they don't realize, like, the stuff that they give up, right? Now, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but if you are older, right? And you're a guy, it's like, I think it must suck knowing that, yeah, it's like you constantly have this need to go cycle through younger and younger women, and then it gets to a point where, you're maybe like 60 years old or 70 years old, and let's say something happens, you think, yeah, you can just put it there, you can just put it there, you can just put it there. And yeah, it's like, I realize, like, yeah, longevity really matters a lot, because there will always be a nice hot piece of ass around the corner, especially if you live in a place like LA, right? It's like a dime a dozen kind of thing. You get a woman, you get her trainer, you get her stylist, you get her, like all these Hollywood celebrities, they look like $1 million because they have a team behind them. It doesn't require a brain to do. You just hire these people, really. But yeah, you see these Hollywood celebrities, they got perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect body. They got a nutritionist, a trainer, all that stuff. And yeah, it's like, if you're willing to spend the money and stuff on that, then great. But looks, like I said, looks fade. Looks eventually fade. No one who is 50 years old looks like how they did when they were 22 or 23. And yeah, I think it's very flawed for a woman to just think like, I need to stay looking like I'm 23 forever. Because bones change. Bones change, life happens, gravity happens, and I know it sounds disgusting, but that also happens to men as well. Men are only as loyal as their options. You'd be surprised. You hear about guys who go and do online dating, and they're like totally out of shape, and they try to hit up these like 25-year-old girls, 21-year-old girls, and yeah, they got a wife at home who's taking care of the kids, taking care of, household and things like that, and she's left in the dust because she doesn't realize, like, the guy is, trying to get the attention of someone who's like a size two, a size two, and like a, perky body and things like that. But that a woman like that isn't gonna waste her time on just an average guy. She's gonna want the guy who she feels like she can sink her claws in. The investment. You see a lot of these women in freaking Miami. They're walking around, trying to get the attention of rich guys, because if you invest like 20,000 into your plastic surgery, you want it to pay off. That's the reality of it, right? Yeah, no, I know, I've seen it like time and time again. But yeah, it makes me sad when I hear about the stories of, like I said, I've known women personally. It's like they get older, and then the guy's like, I want to be with a 23-year-old, and it's like, okay, well, what does she have to offer? It's like, oh, she's hot. It's like, she's hot, she's young. Okay, great, great. So you want the fountain of youth, and that's it. And they disregard all the other characteristics of the woman just because she's not 23 years old anymore. You know. Not really. Girls 16 to 23 all go after older guys. Not really. I mean, I used to be 16 to 23 at one point. Remember that? Back in the day. Yeah. But yeah, I just like, you hear about this kind of stuff, and it's just like, it's sad. It sucks for the women. So, yeah, women who have this kind of thing, they get older, and that's why we see a cycle of women where they just feel like they're just disposable, because they're so, they're basically competing against these freaking Instagram models online, and it gets under their psyche because they say, man, there's a woman who's 25 and she looks perfect and she's all photoshopped, and guys are lusting after her left and right, or her husband or her spouse is like lusting after this too, and it takes a toll. like, yeah, like I've shared with you guys, right? Like I've been shared images of women, and there is no way on God's green earth I will ever achieve that level of fitness. I mean, some of these women are more buff than the guys that I know. And yeah, I think I've shared a picture with you for example. Like some of these women, it's like 99% of the guys out there are less buff than these women. Seriously, like, cause those women obviously they're taking steroids or something. I mean they're huge. They're huge. They're like muscle on top of muscle on top of muscle. There's no womanly curves. It's just muscle, muscle, muscle. So yeah, I've seen how it is, and yeah, it's just like those kind of glimpses. It's like you just kind of think about it, and you're like, oh well, yeah. There's always these images of these like much more aesthetic people out there, and to be honest, like people are not going to compete with it. Like Britney Spears, right? Britney Spears when she was like doing Baby One More Time or something like that. You can't compete with that shit, right? But you know there must be a guy out there who's, let's say, 55 years old, who says, man, you know, I've been with my wife for like 15 years. I'm tired of her. I want a chick like Britney Spears when she was 17 years old. I feel like I should go after that kind of women, and it's like, yeah. So like I said, right, I've known guys who've done this kind of stuff. They threw away what they had, and then they go through life trying to, they have to lead with their money, because that's the only reason why a woman like that would pay attention to them. It has to be the money thing. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So my thoughts is I do think men are very visual creatures. I think that there is a shift in society where men are being encouraged to just go out with the old, right? She's, you know, she's hitting 40, like she's too old, get rid of her. You know, go back, go with a 25-year-old if you can pull a 25-year-old. And then when the 25-year-old gets too old, then dump her and go for another 25-year-old. And it saddens me because it's like I see the devastation in some of these relationships, but at the end of it, right, you kind of think to yourself like, if a guy decides to do that, he's really, like, if he just like leaves a woman just because of her looks, then yeah, it's like he's digging in his own grave. But yeah, the access and the easiness of Instagram and these perfect airbrush chicks, they're so prevalent. They're all over the place. That's why it's like I think the temptation is very great. So I would say, right, if you're a woman, you got to be very cognizant about that kind of stuff, right? Because you don't know what can happen in the future, sort of thing. But yeah, based on what I'm seeing, you know, based on like how I feel like society is, especially with the younger generations, I worry. You know, like the guys who are like 20 years old or something, I worry because it's like they're around like the whole Instagram social media stuff. How are they gonna be in like 15 years or 20 years or something like that? They're already conditioned to think women should look perfect. So yeah, it's like you're leading with the looks. You see all this materialism and consumerism and, you know, beauty, makeup products kind of stuff. It's kind of an overdrive versus before, right? You see? I think before, when you had less of this stuff, people focused more on, you know, the inside. But as you had more things where it's like there's coveting, where like, oh, you know, you're a man if you have a young, hot, sexy trophy wife kind of thing, and an emphasis on the young. Okay, emphasis on the young. It just sends a message, and yeah, for those kind of guys who chase that young chick all the time, in my opinion, they're gonna be setting. I might be wrong, but I think a lot of them are gonna be setting themselves for just chasing happiness. But yeah, the woman that really sticks out in my mind, I looked up to her so much, you guys. She was, in my opinion, the perfect package. She took care of the household, she took care of the kids, she looked incredible. But her husband cheated on her multiple times with various women who were about, I think, 1 or 2 years older than her oldest daughter. And it wasn't because this woman didn't have a brain, it wasn't because she wasn't beautiful, it was because she didn't have youth on her side. It's like you can only hold off aging process for so long, and then after a while, you start getting wrinkles on your face. And it's not just the wrinkle, but it's also the bone changes as well. So, she was doing things like fillers, and she looked great. She was dyeing her hair so she didn't have white hairs. But even then, all the loyalty she showed to her husband, she was, at one point, they were living in a car, before success came his way. They were living in a car, and she stuck by his side. But yeah, that's how he showed appreciation to her. He just dumped her for a chick who was 2 years older than his oldest daughter. And I never forgot that, because I thought to myself, like, geez, she seemed like she was so perfect. She was vivacious. She was a great conversationalist. She had a good head on her shoulders. Again, she took care of herself. I could not find anything wrong with this woman. She was a loyal wife, all that stuff, and she still got screwed over. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not gonna ask her how that game was. I have no idea. But yeah, it just really stood out to me, and I felt bad for her because yeah, the husband was so mean, that when she found out he was cheating on her, it wasn't just the first time. I think she divorced him after the second cheating. What he did is that he stopped paying for the house that they were living in, and yeah, because he couldn't believe that she divorced him because he was cheating on her, and he knew that she knew, and things like that. But she did what she had to do, and she put, it's like I thought to myself, like, how could you do that to your own children? Because they were the children, and the mom was living under a roof, right? But yeah, so that was that's what happened. And when I found out years later, I was horrified about it. I thought, like, geez, it's like looks can really be deceiving, because like I had met that guy, right? I knew the family. So for him to be like that, I thought, like, geez, that's how you repay loyalty and things like that. So but yeah, so yeah, like I said, I'm worried about how society is shifting, and I think that what I pick up from how society is yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more of a movement where it's like, yeah, you're with a woman, she's a certain age, dump her. She's too old for you. Go with someone who is younger. And I feel bad for these, younger women. The women who are like 20 years old right now, 21 years old, being with a guy who's maybe 20 years old, and social media is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's my worry, because yeah, I mean, like, I know it happens now, but I just think it's going to get worse. For sure. Okay, you guys.